I didn't really have a team that was helping me do it, and that was me not really investing into them. So I had a 2 year dip, and then really just got tired of being really average, honestly, and missed having that like winning team culture and being successful. We had a really good year last year, got back on track, and I've surrounded myself with a really good team. We still have a pretty small team of three, me and three gals, but they're rock stars.
If you could go back and give yourself advice, would you? That's exactly what we're going to tackle in this episode with Shelby Skytland. He's going to walk you through how his first 3 years were absolutely amazing, crushing it, and then going through a really low 2-year slump, and what happened and transpired to pull himself out of that slump and get his agency back into crushing production, building the best team and best culture he has ever had. We're going to be talking about culture. We're going to be talking about life insurance production, and the one thing with life insurance production that will lead to insane results. With that being said, let's start the show. Hey, welcome to the Insurance Buzz. We are your hosts, Michael and Courtney Weaver, and today we have a very special guest with us, rockstar agent Shelby Skytland. Shelby, what's going on?
Hey guys, how's it going today? I'm doing great.
We are super pumped for this episode. Or not even episode, I'm just pumped for this conversation. You reached out and were like, yo, let's get buzzed on the buzz, man. I'm like, let's get buzzed on the buzz, baby. Let's go.
Okay, so before we get into it, because we have quite the story, because we're going to talk about life insurance production, we're going to talk about pivots in your career, we're going to talk about working different locations, all of those things. What is in your cup? You have a copper mug, Shelby. What is in your drink right now?
I had a little bit of a bullet bourbon in the cup today.
Let's go. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you take your bourbon before we get into it? Sounds like there's...
I like old fashions. My wife told me I can't drink much straight whiskey because then she likes me to stick to beer. But I'll have like an old fashioned or a glass here and there. So that's about it.
Okay.
I love that. What's your wife's name?
My wife's name's Abby.
Abby. Hi, Abby.
Yep.
I
Yeah,
understand
Abby
the feeling of
Yep.
pull the whiskey
I
back.
love it. So you made yourself an old fashioned.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I did.
I dig that. I dig that. All right, let's go. We are getting buzzed on the buzz.
We are getting.
And I want to say, I told you guys this before, but my wife, I always talk about the insurance buzz because I've listened to it for a while. So I always like tell my wife, like I always say around the house, I'm like, we getting buzzed on the buzz. And so when I put, we have our Skylight calendar where she puts all our weekly appointments, and sure enough, she put getting buzzed on the buzz for today. So I was like, she just gets it.
I freaking love that.
Abby, you're in.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get started. I want to talk a little bit about your journey. You became an agent in 2019. So just kind of catch us up. What happened in 2019 to get us to where we are right now in 2026?
Yeah, I started in 2019 as an agent. I worked for my dad, who's also a State Farm agent. I worked for him for 2 years before an opportunity came available in 2019. I got into it. I suppose I got that opportunity a lot based off of life production as a team member. So I had 3 good years as an agent from 2019, those first 3 years, specifically with the life insurance. We weren't really big P&C writers by any means, but we at least were pretty consistent with writing a lot of life. And then after year 3, I remember, so when we get interviewed, you have a couple people. For me, it was 2 guys that interviewed me for an agency. I remember the higher up of the 2 who made the decision to hire me said that agents go through a 4 or 5 year slump at times, and that's really when they kind of see, agents either continue to take off or they might fall off. I definitely, for myself, after year 3, did a downward trend in that. So I had 2 years where I honestly I always ran with really lean teams, and I quite honestly tried to do a lot of the production, mostly life, on my own. So I didn't really have a team that was helping me do it. And that was from me not really investing into them. So I had a 2-year dip, and then really just got tired of being really average, honestly, and missed having that like winning team culture and being successful. Got married and just wanted to get re-engaged in every part of life, whether it was my family and my business. And so I just was tired of being average. And then we had a really good year last year, got back on track, and I've surrounded myself with a really good team. We still have a pretty small team of 3, me and 3 gals, but they're rock stars, and we're having a lot of fun and doing a lot better.
All right, let's diagnose this. So you did very, very well the first 3 years, and then you have a slump for 2 years. So I would love to know if you can remember back, what was going through your mind, what emotions were you feeling? Like, what, if you could pinpoint, if you can remember this, what initially maybe caused that slump? Was it burnout? Was it just tired of running like hard yourself? Like, what do you think initially caused that slump?
I think it was burnout would be the biggest one. For 3 years in a row, I ran hundreds of appointments over those 3 years by myself. I would hire a team. Some of them would turn over fairly quick, and I never really invested in them for the life piece. Or I would ask them to write life insurance, and I'd get frustrated if they weren't doing it right away. So I'd say, oh, well, I got to try to do it myself as far as just get through the year. And after 3 years, it kind of caught up with me. And then at one point, I lost mostly all of my team. And it was me and one really new guy. And it was a lot of pressure on him to try to help me with no experience himself. And then I was so that would probably be it. Just losing my team and then having burnout would be the 2 things.
Did you feel like you had to keep jumping back in? Like you would try to delegate something and then you would jump back into it? Like you kept getting pulled back into certain things? Is that part of what you're talking about here?
Yeah, when I lost team, I stopped talking about, when I had a good team, I would always say, okay, let's really focus on life insurance. It's going to come down to doing a lot of appointments and things like that. But when I would lose team, I kind of would just put a pause on the life insurance, and then I would just keep it. It wouldn't be a top priority, and then sales in general wouldn't be a top priority. So I feel like for me, it was like 1 slow month turned into 2, turned into 4, turned into a year. Next thing you know, 2 years went by, and I was just, it just kind of got into that I just kind of got like that for a while.
Yeah. So you said you never invested in your team in life, and that was kind of like the first snowflake in this big snowball. If you had to go back, what would investing in your team and life insurance look like? What would you do in 2022?
Do differently?
Yeah. What I would have done differently is very simple. I would have, instead of sprinting to just get it done, I would have slowed down and said, okay, if we don't have the greatest 3 months of life production, that's okay. I'm going to slow down and spend time with each one of my team, really developing them. And when I first started, I was I got a little crabby. Like if a team member was like expected to write life insurance specifically and they weren't doing it, I would get a little bit just frustrated. And now I just realized that that's never helped me in terms of coaching a team. It's never brought more life production. So I just have a way different mindset. So I think a lot more positive reinforcement, slow it down, train more, really teach them that life insurance isn't as complicated of a conversation as we tend to make it. And really just and honestly, right now I have 3 people on my team that really are passionate about it. And I don't really have to force that passion for them. They honestly just bring it a lot themselves. And so they're willing to be coached by me, so it makes it more fun. So I just think, honestly, having the right people that are willing to at least have the courage to help me ask those life questions with people, if they can have the courage to ask people about life insurance, I can help coach them, is my mindset.
Yeah, sharing the load. You want somebody to share the load that you carry as a business owner, as an agent. You want people that show up and say, I'm willing to take some of this off of your plate. So let's talk about characteristics that your current team has now that you think make them the people that are like, you're saying, I'm not having to pour into them. I'm not having to really like motivate them. They get it. Like they get the vision. There's something that you're doing, or there's something that.
Can I ask the question before we talk about the characteristics?
Yes.
Okay. So just real fast, because you had experience, so I can relate to you a lot here. Being a top producer, getting an agency opportunity. I was a top performer in our office when we started. So on some of the words you're using, like putting pressure, getting a little frustrated, just a sprint. And so my question, because what you just said is you would have rather have poured more into your team. So my question for you would be is, were you producing because you enjoyed producing, or because you felt like you had to produce to get the production necessary and you thought that you could do it faster than your team, so it would be a waste of time coaching and empowering your team at that point in time?
Yeah, I would say that ever since I was a team member, I've always liked the life insurance part. Like I got more enjoyment, more fulfillment out of doing that than the auto. So that's always, and I've always been really competitive. Even when I worked for my dad, I wanted his agency to be successful in the life. So when I did my own, I always measured our success off of, are we qualifying in our company for our travel trips, which shows you're writing a good amount. So I think I always liked it, but it honestly became more, when you talk about liking it, I feel like I didn't enjoy it as much. It felt more, I just have to do it, as more of like, if I don't do it, I'm not nobody, I'm not a successful agent. So I think that would be the thing. And I would also say that when it comes to a busy time of the year, I probably said, you know what, I have more experience with it. So instead of my team doing 10 appointments and maybe having a lower probability, I would say, let me run the 10 appointments because we just got to get it done, which I found that I couldn't sustain that very long.
Yeah. So out of curiosity, and maybe this is what you're doing now, I don't know, but so if you could go back, so obviously you said you would coach your team, empower your team, be a little bit more patient, maybe not put as much pressure on yourself. Would you try to still be in personal production, or would you try to hold yourself accountable to delegating it to the team those first few years instead of doing it yourself, just out of curiosity?
I would say that I would still myself do it.
Okay.
I just, for me as an agent, I like the idea of being able to delegate all the production and sales, but I do enjoy it, and I've set my office up to where I really want to delegate everything except for life sales. So I think I still would do it myself too.
Okay. All right.
Yep, it's not as
you were talking characteristics of the salespeople.
Yeah. So and now we've unpacked something different with identity and who am I as a successful agent. So I was curious about the characteristics, but I'm going to put a pin in that for just a second, because what you said, really, I want to dive into it a little bit. You said the production made you a successful agent. Has success and your definition of success changed since 2022?
Yeah, it's changed a lot. Yeah, it really has. Honestly, and I was going to say this at the beginning of the podcast, but I didn't get I didn't mention it. But I posted on. Here's a good way to explain it. So I posted on Facebook recently a post that said, "Who is Shelby Skytland?" Okay, just kind of that kind of deal, and a picture of my business photo. And I just talked about the 3 things in life that to me are the most important and by far exceed success in business as far as what's important to me. So number 1, I'm a godly man, very passionate. My faith is super strong. Jesus Christ is very important in my life and my family's life. So he's number 1. And I've always been a faithful person, but over the last few years, I've been just more outspoken about that. And even an opportunity like being on this podcast to say that is something that 4 or 5 years ago, I would have been maybe shy or felt like that was something it's just personal to not come out and say. But I've just gotten more outward speaking on that. So that's number 1. My wife is the best thing in my life for sure. Her name's Abby Jo. We've been married since 2024. She's my best friend. She's amazing. So I was, before her, I was an agent and I was doing okay financially but that was some of my lower points in life, just not having a person like her with me, because it was more of a lonely thing, doing okay financially, doing okay with business, but not having that person. I think that was, a missing part. So having her, when you talk about success, like if I didn't have my business, if I didn't have any of the financial means that the business helps us bring, I would still be good with her, just her. But and then our little girl, we had a little daughter in back in September of 2025. Her name's Scout Jo after her mama. So Scout's she's awesome, and she's just super, amazing as well, and so important in our lives, and just really changed life for us too. So those things are what I would base more of success on personally. I am, to be honest, very passionate about business. So like my definition of business success is, it's probably changed, just building a team and not worried so much maybe on the bottom line of net profit, and focusing a little more on spending more money on my team, building a bigger team, putting more into the business, growing something that's more sustainable, for me is what will be more successful for me if I can continue to do this a long time at a high level without burning out.
Oh, gosh. First of all, I love the name Scout. Love that.
Thank you.
That is a great name.
I appreciate you being really honest and sharing that, because you're talking about something that's bigger than yourself. And I respect that so much. I hear that. I feel that. So let's go to 2025. So your definition of success, I'm sure, is starting to evolve. You've met Abby, like things are changing. You're building a partnership there. What's the turning point?
Yeah. Like, what pulled you out of the
Like
slump?
you could have stayed in that hole for years and been like, I don't want to be an insurance agent. This is hard. Like, I don't enjoy this anymore. Like, what flipped for you?
I remember what it was like when I had more success as an agent, as more of a successful business person, and like money, obviously with this business, there's a lot of financial opportunity in it. And I would be full of it if I said that that wasn't a big part of my goals with this business, as that is an important aspect. But I think just being like proud of myself, and like even with my team, I don't know, if my team is working really hard and they're like going after a goal together and they're just working at it, if they're not having the best month of production, I'm okay with that still, if we're still like actively wanting to win, because that's something you can be proud of. You can rally around that as long as you're putting in the activity and the effort. To me, I just wasn't putting in the activity and the effort. I was hanging out on the river in where I live and not going into my office because I had a couple team members, and I was just, we're getting paid okay, let's just keep hanging out, and I just lost that purpose. So I think, Courtney, just finding that purpose for myself again, and I wouldn't be, like, I want to make my wife proud. You know, I think that, like I said, aside from the money part, we would be happy without that aspect of this business, but I want to be able to come home and have someone that, you know, she's proud of me. And I think she's just seen that to me. She's been more, she's proud to have me be competitive amongst other State Farm agents or whatever it might be. So just being a competitive person for my family is big.
Let's take a minute and just talk about life insurance. Are you struggling with how to navigate the conversation, the types of questions to ask to engage your customer, your prospect, to where they actually want to talk to you about life insurance? They're actually telling you their problems so you can take your sales pants off, put your conversation pants on, and just solve problems, which is what you want to do as a sales professional. If you struggle with that, if you wish you had more confidence in the conversation, you want to add to your arsenal, you want to increase your skill set, I'm going to be holding a life insurance webinar soon. Make sure that you click the link below in the show notes and register. It is free and it is going to be extremely valuable as always. So again, if you are interested in improving your life insurance game, getting more comfortable with what you do every single day, understanding that, hey, if I just change this one little thing, I can achieve more success. Make sure you click the link below, show up. I look forward to seeing you there. Okay, because you just said a lot right there. So so you got married in 2024. Did that have anything to do with it? Like, okay, I have somebody that's reliant on me now from a financial standpoint. Do you remember that? Like, was that a trigger for you? Was it you felt like you weren't going to live up to your potential? Like, I'm just really...
Did you want more?
Yeah, did you want more? Like, I'm just really curious because you went in a 2-year slump, and you're right. Like, I've seen a lot of agents go through a 2, 3, 4-year slump, and a lot just never come back out of it. Nope. Most don't. And so I'm just very curious right now, like, what was that, like, internal trigger that was like, I need to turn this around? Yeah,
I got an easy answer for that. My goal within this business is to, number one, expand get bigger. And my ultimate goal, just from a business standpoint, is to open a second office at some point. And I know that with our company, just like I would imagine any company, for them to allow you to open a second location, they're going to want to see you having success, just like, which is totally understandable. So I would say that's the easy way, Mike, to say it, is I wanted to be able to do another location. I knew that production was important to do that.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to characteristics. So, because I
Finally gonna talk some
bring the characteristics back, because I want you to not only talk a little bit about like the characteristics that your team has right now that you feel like, okay, they're absolutely crushing, like we're working together as a team unit, but what are the characteristics that you have right now as the leader as well?
Yeah. The characteristics I have, consistency, being a lot more consistent. So if I tell my team that we're going to meet every day in the morning, don't let, something come in between that. Even when I told you guys that my office is 100 miles from where I live. So today I'm sitting in my living room. This morning I still had my check-in call with my 3 team members. We all met for our 5 to 10 minute call. So there's always a morning meeting. A little bit ago, I just sent my team an email saying, hey, how's our afternoon win the day looking? How's everyone doing? Everyone's great to respond back to me. One gal, hey, I got a life application, and I set 2 appointments. The other girl set 2 appointments, and the other one was about to set hers. So they're all just giving me updates. So just consistent communication with my team, and just being a lot better attitude as a leader, and just leading with more of a positive energy instead of a here's what I need out of you type of deal.
How do you win the day in your agency?
I think win the day can change for us depending on the time of year. I think for me, if you'd ask me what our number one thing that we can do from a production standpoint and a retention standpoint is just doing customer reviews appointments. Mm-hmm. So right now, I saw in my dad's agency, I had a win the day where I was doing, it was like appointments, life quotes, and Google review text, something along that line. My dad's agency, they're having just a great start to the year, and they were just doing it very simple. Everybody set 2 appointments a day or get 2 life applications. So for us right now, it's just simply everybody sets two appointments, and that's allowing us, especially in this time of the year, to get off to a good start. It's been working out for getting good life production and going at least.
Do they take the appointments, or are you the only one that takes appointments?
It's me and one other gal,
Okay.
Susan, that works with me. She helps me out with appointments.
Get it, Susan.
Yeah,
Okay.
Susan's the best. She's great.
Okay, so I love this because a lot of times we downplay simple. We want it to be complicated, and we want it to have a lot of steps because we've been conditioned that the more complicated it is, the more valuable it is. Yeah. So if I were to ask you this very simple, get 2 appointments every single day, what percentage does your team actually do that every single day? What would you be able to tell me?
95 to 100%.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Simple, consistent behavior.
Stacking them dubs, baby.
Yes, and it is not the sexy thing, and nobody wants to like make a Pinterest quote about it, and you should, because it's the boring things that make the difference. So I'm celebrating you. I have my tambourine over here.
Yep, nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
I do have a clarification question on the appointment. Is it in person? Is it virtual? Is it over the phone? Is it a combination of all 3? What's that look like?
I would say, honestly, we've shifted a lot of our appointments to being over the phone. I would say a large percentage of them are by phone, and I've just found that it's, for us, I like doing phone appointments. I can keep them pretty quick, simple. I don't sit there and talk for 45 minutes. They're pretty quick to the point, to be honest with you. So phone appointments, I think, makes it simple for customers to agree to an appointment because we can always work around schedule. It doesn't have to take time out of their day. So phone, unless they prefer in office, we do have a lot that, people that like to come into, which definitely we would be happy to do if they're willing.
Yeah, so on the phone appointments, are you just having the initial conversation and then scheduling like a second, like virtual or in person for life, or are you getting it all done on that initial call?
Mostly off the initial call. I know my gals, Jen and Susan are both great. They're at writing. They're both getting really good start this year of getting some of their own life production. I notice sometimes will have a good appointment, say with one spouse, and then they'll do a life policy, and then they'll set a secondary appointment for the other spouse. For me, I've just kind of come into the idea that, this is my experience, if I don't get the application done in that initial appointment, I oftentimes struggle to get the applications done later. I just don't have a lot of success with it if they just take the quotes and don't do it right then.
Yeah. Okay. That's great.
I want you to describe your team because you described some characteristics that you have. Give me some characteristics that your team has that you're super proud of.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I am literally like and Abby, my wife, can attest to this. I'll like talk to my team, like we'll text like in the afternoons at night, or like they'll call me and they're like, we just have this fun, honestly, just office relationship with all four of us, that we have a really good working, fun in the office. But I would say characteristics. So Jen's been with me the longest. She's been just celebrating her 2-year anniversary here coming up in March. Jen started with me coming from insurance background, but not really a salesperson. She's now our lead P&C producer. She's just awesome, and she, like, her personality is, she always tells people that she's not a salesperson. She's more of an educator, and like her calmness when she talks to people. Sometimes I'm like talking a mile a minute, and she slows it down for the person. She's relatable. She's a mom. She's just a calm energy that also likes to have a lot of fun. But when it's time to educate a person, I honestly get a lot of great feedback of people that write with her, that she's so good at onboarding them, so good at making them understand what they're doing. And now she's just incorporating the life conversations with it, and I think she'll be amazing with that. Susan, she's been with me second longest. Susan, it's funny, she applied for a front desk reception position with me. Definitely wanted to hire her, brought her on. Come to find out, she's like got all this background. She didn't tell me this. She's super humble, but she had all this success writing life insurance back with prior company, and her her personal story and her passion for life insurance is like amazing. And it honestly, you can't coach or even teach what she brings from a life passion standpoint. So I've switched her, like literally we're like, let's get you back licensed and everything, like life specifically. And now she's P&C licensed too. But so she's got that great, I don't know. She's very passionate. So she's, and then, so then we had to fill her position. So we brought on Amber, who was actually a customer of ours prior to it. And she's just super bubbly personality. She works up front. So she's that first contact, and her position is all about a great customer experience, whether it's helping people with their claims, whether it's people coming in for payments, but she's also super good at like just jumping on board with our team as far as what we're going towards. So like this appointment thing, within no time at all, she was already like, she's setting appointments constantly, and like she just buys into what we're doing. And that's another hard thing to coach. And so all three of them, they're all moms, they're all just great people, and they're super fun. My team is very, very great.
I love that. Okay, so I've been hanging on to this question for the entire episode. So at the very beginning, you said when you interviewed for the agency position that one of the guys said to you that there usually is a slump between like the 4 to 5 year mark, which almost becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because if you look at where you kind of line up and you start to go in a slump, it's pretty spot on. If you could go back and he could say something differently to you, what would you rather him tell you?
Oh, that's a good point, or a good question. He told me, so his name's, I'll just say his name, he's since retired, but name's Matt Steele out of Minnesota. And I interviewed with him, and I've known him for quite a while, but it just somewhat intimidated. He's an amazing guy, but of course you're intimidated doing your interview. So I said one thing that I remember he gave me some crap about. I said, I'm going to try to do this, and he corrected me on my vocabulary of the word try, which I thought was good. Of course, I'm probably like sweating and shaking, but I'm like, yes, sir, I'll do everything. No. So, and I think he talked a lot about like, on the corporate end, he talked more about like the team aspect. He told me that, hey, Shelby, a lot of times what happens is agents burn out year 4 or 5, or they don't always burn out. He said agents either burn out at 4 or 5 and they either go like this, or the ones that continue to have that consistent success they have great processes and, more importantly, team. So I think maybe for them, if you to say something different, I don't know if I would have had him say anything different. I think maybe just emphasizing that, Shelby, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go out and get your contract your first year, and you're going to think that you're going to just go off to the races, and maybe you've been a producer as a team member. You're going to want to try to do that naturally, but you need to really stop, slow down. You'll get your contract if you're just doing things well and you're building a team. Don't worry about just going off to the races. So, and don't worry about so much about just getting applications. Like for the first 3 years, especially after my first year, I was so focused on, I just got to get life applications. I just got to get disability. I just got to get some auto and renters just to get my contract. So I was very application focused compared to team development. Like, who cares if I missed a couple months of disability policies? Like, I was just peddling small policies. If I would have just invested in team first, I probably wouldn't have burned out like I did.
That's good. That's good.
I've been hanging on to that one because
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That is a great question. That's a terrific question. And it's because a lot of pressure does get put on you, and then the self-fulfilling prophecy. I mean,
it does kind of become that, but it's also, I love how what you would have rather heard is build a business. Like, I know that you're concerned about getting your contract, but that will absolutely come if you build a business that can sustain not just the year, but the next 5 years and 10 years and 15 years and 20 years. And I think, I think that would have saved a lot of probably struggle for you, but I think that's the whole point. I think we all have to kind of go through all of these like ups and downs and dips. What's the gold from the dip for you? Like when you sat in that, like, okay, oh, this absolutely sucks. Looking back, why are you glad that happened?
Oh, that's a good question. The dip, what am I glad about? I think, I guess here's what comes to mind on that. I think it's a good reminder to kind of put me in my place that, you get a little, I don't want to say cocky, that's not the right word, but as an agent sometimes, especially as a producer before, you kind of have that mentality of like, if it gets bad, I can just sell what I need to make it through it. You know what I mean? Like you get kind of that, like, if everyone quits on me tomorrow, I'll still like sit here till midnight and we can write life apps or whatever. And it's like, that's just not realistic, and it's just not good. So that would be it. I can't do it without a great team. And other than just production, my team is what makes me want to show up and actually go to work. And I honestly, in the last year, and I have a 100-mile drive to get to my office, so it's not like I can come home for lunch break with Abby, but no. So she, but what I'm getting at is I literally in the last year, I have not one day have I not wanted to go to my office where it was like I woke up and I'm like, shoot, I got to go to work today. I honestly haven't had that, and a lot of it's based off of my team and just how close we are and how much fun we have.
That's good gold right there.
Oh my gosh.
That's like a mic drop.
This whole episode has been
And
so good.
You had to, I was laughing because I'm like, man, this sounds like a young Michael.
That's why I grabbed you. It literally sounds exactly like it's okay. I know how to do everything in this agency. And it doesn't matter if everyone walks out. I'm like, don't do that. Don't do that. That's great that you know how to, but
that's a lonely road.
That is, and it's too much weight to. It literally is. It's too much weight to bear.
It's a good way to die as a young man. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Shelby, this has been awesome, and we appreciate obviously your transparency, your vulnerableness. This has been really cool because I would hope. I don't hope struggle on any business owner, but there's been a lot of learning lessons I can speak on our behalf throughout the last 10 plus years we've been doing this, however long we've been doing this now, 12 years. And you don't always get to see the losses and the struggles. And so you walking us through your ups and downs, we just really appreciate it. If somebody wanted to follow you in your journey, what's the easiest way for them to do that?
So I do a lot with my social media, my Facebook page recently. So it's just Shelby Skytland, State Farm. This is our social media. Then my email is shelby@shelbyskytland.com. So yeah, that'd be the easiest way.
Cool. No, you do have a lot of cool stuff going on with social media. I know we didn't get to do that, but or get into that conversation, but Shelby is doing some really good stuff with highlighting local businesses and on his social media that's helped him tremendously. So if you guys are interested in that, please follow along. And Shelby, thank you, man. This has been fantastic for all of those of you who are tuning in today. Thank you so much. Time and attention is always your most important asset. So as always, we truly do appreciate you spending time with us today. Go out, make it great. Shelby, thanks again, man.